loud and crazy and just rambunctious majority of the time.
I take lots of naps, so you'll find me knocked out on the couch. The only people that can reach out to me and connect with me are my favorites. Ooh,
That they start from a place where they're just loved, like, for who they are. Hey, we're the 3 Mile an Hour family, and we're here to inspire and encourage others to live slow and think deeply.
if you like this kind of content, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Farrah, let's jump right into it. The very first question that we wanted to address is, what does Sabbath mean for you? And so I'm going to throw the question to Farrah. What does Sabbath mean for you?
For me, as a mom of two little wild boys, it's really just a day to disconnect and rest. Just kind of like forget the to-do list and just be for a second,
Yeah.
for a day. Sir, what does Sabbath mean for you?
So one thing that I'm teaching the boys, we're teaching the boys, is just the simple reality of what Sabbath actually is one, to stop. So you'll hear our 4-year-old say, hey, Sabbath means to stop from your work. And that's just ceasing, disconnecting, like you said. And then the second thing is we say celebrate. So ceasing and celebrating the goodness of God. And so we spend a lot of time doing things that fill us up, that fill us up with joy and with God's presence, spending time with one another, spending time as a family, and really just reading our Bibles, praying, and enjoying that presence with God. The second question we wanted to tackle is kind of giving you guys practical ways in which you can stop and rest, or how we, maybe 3 ways in which we stop and rest during Sabbath.
My number one is being out in nature. It just revives my soul to just be outside, and that's one way that, like, the Lord speaks to us through his creation. So just being outside, going to the park, taking walks, just getting out there as much as I can, and just seeing how he's speaking all around me just through his creation. Number 2 is just unplugging, and like I said, just disconnecting for a day and turning off my phone and my laptop, and just forgetting the work and the to-do list, and getting off social media and just all the distractions that come with that pull me into wanting to do something, or wanting to create something, or produce, or distract me from being in the present, just being with my family. So that's a huge one. And then number 3, again, since I am taking care of 2 little boys all day long, it's loud and crazy and just rambunctious majority of the time. A great way for me to rest, especially as an introvert, is putting them down for a nap and letting them sleep, and then I get to come out here and grab a book and grab my Bible and my journal and just sit in the quiet and the silence, and then just read and journal and see how the Lord wants to speak to me through those things.
Top 3 ways for me is, 1, I like to sleep. My schedule during the week really is, I sleep a lot less, maybe 5 hours, 6 hours. So when it gets to the Sabbath, I take time to try and sleep in, or just sleep more than normal. I take lots of naps, so you'll find me knocked out on the couch and enjoying that time. Sometimes I'll just lay there being quiet and resting my body physically. The second thing that I like to do in order to stop and rest is I actually have a focus mode that I put on all my devices that basically silences all notifications. It's a specific screen, so I only have my Bible app, the Bible Project app, my Notes app, and the only people that can reach out to me and connect with me are my favorites.
Hope you made the list.
Hope you made the list. So I have a favorites list that people can reach out to me. All the notifications are silenced, but calls come through. So if it's a phone to phone, like talking on the phone, it'll come through and I get to have that conversation, really just centered around relationships is my goal. The last thing that I try to do to practice this stopping and resting is I tend to work with my mind. So I'm at a desk, I do social media, I do a lot of things that are kind of working my brain. And so I like to rest with my hands, right? I've heard it said before, if you work with your hands, then rest with your mind. Or if you work with your mind, rest with your hands. Oh, and so for me, it is just like what Farrah said, we like to go out in nature or just simply be outside, give our boys an opportunity to play outside and go on their scooters, push the car around, sometimes go to the park, but simply just being outside. So this video is about Sabbath for young families. So obviously we are a young family with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. So Farrah, how do you teach our kids the importance of Sabbath?
I think just recognizing or teaching them to recognize Sabbath as the start of their week and not the ending, but coming from a day of rest and just simply being and just celebrating and being together and having fun and just delighting in all the things that the Lord has just blessed us with and just who we are, like that is where we operate from. And so just teaching them that they start from a place where they're just loved, like for who they are, and then everything else, all the work after that, the day to day is an overflow and just follows. And so just kind of like restructuring their week in a little bit, just recognizing that Sabbath is the start, and then everything else like just comes out of an overflow of just the rest and the celebration that we got to have throughout the day. So the second thing I think would be giving them things to look forward to. So and incorporating them as much as you can. So like we ask them like, hey, what do you want? What would you like for a Sabbath meal or a Sabbath dessert or what's your favorite drink? What would you like to have, for to drink for our Sabbath meal like that night? Picking out, their favorite like activities. Like, hey, what do you want to go and do on Sabbath? What sounds fun to you? Just giving them as much ownership as we can and finding ways that like we can all enjoy it as a family. They're just as much a part of our team as we are. So we're not just going and doing whatever we want to do, but we're actively asking them and involving them of what our Sabbath day looks like. Sir, how do you teach our kids how to Sabbath?
For me, it really looks like the simple things. So we take the time every beginning of Sabbath. We don't light the candles, but we say a prayer together and we open up that time by just reminding ourselves, okay, what are we entering into? We're stopping. So we tell our kids, say stop. We are stopping. And then we say, we celebrate. We're celebrating God's goodness. And sometimes we may have a little dance party at the table. And then we enter into that time with food, with a meal together, our Sabbath dinner. The second thing we kind of do to teach our kids is, like you said, just creating that consistent rhythm. So we try as best as we can to honor the Sabbath and keep it every single week because we're wanting to create a culture in our own family as a family team. Like this is our value. We are people who live by this principle to Sabbath well. And so we make it a consistent rhythm because we want when our kids grow up that they would long for this, that they would cherish this, that they're week in and week out, they're longing for the Sabbath. Like Ferris said, working from the Sabbath, working from a place of rest. And then at the end of the day, when they're at the end of the week, when they're kind of struggling through it, they know that Sabbath is coming so they can endure. That's really what we're trying to instill in our kids, the importance of Sabbath. Finally, what it really looks like for us is our Sabbaths are nowhere perfect. I mean, they change every week. We fail time and time again. And yet, in our just showing up, in our just trying the best that we can to stop our work and celebrate God's goodness, we are modeling for our kids just the importance of Sabbath. As they see us endure, as they see us show up week in and week out, they look to us and they get to see an opportunity of, man, my parents cherish the Sabbath. That's why it's important. Like we're instilling our values into them. So that's it for our video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. It really helps us a lot. And be sure to subscribe for more videos like this. But I'd love to know, please comment down below, how do you, as a young family or as a longtime practitioner of the Sabbath way, how do you practice the Sabbath? That's it from us. Live slow and think deeply. Bye. Oh, we're supposed to do peace?
Oh, I did.
Okay. It's good.
That's great. I realized though, I didn't look at that camera.